So Bengal and I are up early. I don't know how well she even slept. I didn't sleep that good, but I got about 6 hours, and it's about 39 right now here in Amarillo, Texas. Our next step was going to be Oklahoma City, but that's not a long enough drive, and it's about the same temperature there. So I saw Little Rock, Arkansas is about 8.5 hours, and it's gonna be like 70 at this time tomorrow morning. Doesn't hit below 60, maybe high 50s at the low. And so I think we're both gonna be much happier taking the day to drive. 8 hours puts us at 4. So it's doable. It's the longest drive I've done, but we're making that fast track home. And Oklahoma City's just gonna be too cold, and it's just too cold in the car. In fact, I'm not even gonna worry about charging the Jeep here because it's gonna waste time. So I'm gonna go get my Dunkin', and then we're gonna go off to Little Rock and probably sleep in Walmart, Cracker Barrel. Maybe I'll try Cracker Barrel this time if it's on the map. But we're warming up. Car's heated up and it heats up fast, but it's pretty cold last night. And those birds, I don't know if you can hear them, you can't in the car, but they're still going. They're still going. All right, Little Rock, Arkansas, here we come. So I just crossed over into Oklahoma. So we're in the next state and headed to a third state for the day, Arkansas. Gonna be landing in Little Rock, as I mentioned. So gonna get a little bit closer and then figure out where we're gonna sleep. I'm gonna try and target a Cracker Barrel, but we'll see when we get there. It's climbing in temperature, thank God, because it's been windy and cold in Texas.
Keep left. In one.
So I found the trail, Horton Slough Trailhead. So it's about a mile all the way around, so I'm gonna take a walk. Watch out for those guys. So I've just been reflecting on this trip, now that I'm doing the fast track home. Probably not gonna be camping, maybe one more night. And grateful for this journey. It's kind of not over yet, as I'm in Oklahoma still, but it feels like I'm nearing the end of this first journey now, and it's bittersweet. I'm super excited to get home and see my family and have a home cooked meal and sleep in a bed, although the hotels are, you know, I guess that counts. But my parents' place is very warm and welcoming, and I'm excited for that. I'm sad that I didn't get to see all the places I wanted to see, and I think that was meant to be so that I could plan it for the next one. And you know, my mom always says it's always better to have something to look forward to, and she's right, because you don't want to get it all done in one shot and then have nothing to look forward to. And I want to plan the Grand Canyon trek, so that's going to be coming, but looks like we're at a dead end. So this site is definitely a little bit closed down. I'm assuming because of the season change. Looks like they got a lot of work they're doing. Maybe they're increasing it, but there's not that many people here, and it's a beautiful trail, although I can only do half of it, but maybe that's for the best. My heart is heavy today because I've done this trip and not sure where it all leads. I'm not sure what the next step is. Definitely selling my place and finalizing that, and that's another reason I want to get home, because although I could do it remotely, I'd like to figure out all that financial stuff with my dad, who's an expert. But I find myself thinking, what's next? And maybe that's the Aries in me and the chock full of fire chart that I have, because I am always driven by what's next. And it's funny and ironic how on this trip I didn't know what was next, really. I didn't know I'd get locked out of my car. I didn't know I'd get stuck in a sand trap in a sandstorm. I didn't know my window was gonna get bashed in. I didn't know where I was gonna be going that day, most days. And yet at the end of this trip, I still find myself with a little anxiety about what's next, wondering. And it's ironic because I've had the practice now of not knowing and handling it. But some things I think you can work on, you can improve within yourself, and maybe to varying degrees, because I think other things are just innate, and I'm always going to be wondering what's next. It's always going to bring me anxiety a little bit, at least a little bit, and maybe that's part of life, is managing those things, and on the same token accepting that they are your things, you know. And it's not accepting and throwing your hands up. Like I said, it's about working through things. It's about finding a happy medium, I think, is a really good way of looking at it. That's what I'm trying to do. But I can't help but on the road home now wonder, what's next? And maybe part of that anxiety is because I'm running from something. I'm gonna leave it as something, like it's vague and unknown. But regardless, it's time to recoup. It's time to rejuvenate. It's time to be home for a while, to kind of recharge and figure out the lessons I learned from this trip, and figure out how I want to do the next one and where I want to go. And I think I'm always going to embrace the freeform aspect of this whole lifestyle, which I think I'm going to kind of adopt. And I like it. But lessons can always be learned. Things can always be planned to a degree better than they were before, and you can always improve. Life is about always improving. it's the best way to live. It's all about learning, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I feel like I'm succeeding, even though sometimes my 3D reality doesn't necessarily show me that. But it's how it goes. And I walk with grit and gratitude, and keep pushing on. Because what else am I gonna do, right? What else could anybody do? So I'm about 350 miles from home, feeling really good about seeing my parents, and the last video I made was kind of a nice send-off, but it wasn't quite good enough. Some of you will not know why this is so special to me, to see this right off the highway, and unfortunately it's not open, so I can't get coffee here, and I would love to go inside. It's not open till noon, but Pink Cadillac Diner. I know she's been with me this whole trip. I even had in one of my dreams, I got to talk to her and I got to say thank you for everything. And this just proves to me that she was guiding me this whole trip. My grandma Ann, who I miss so much. Who I never got to say a proper goodbye to, but I know she's with me. Now more than ever, seeing this, you know, I'm just gonna let that stay right there. Thank you, Grandma, for watching out for me and for just being who you were, who you are. You were amazing. You are amazing. And I miss you so much. I love you. Thank you for this trip. First of many to come. And I know you'll be there every step of the way for all of them. And there's no doubt in my mind now. Love you, Grandma.